Tomorrow we face Dundee, so get your boats ready. There might still be a lake on their pitch. Check out these 5 Bombshell Rangers news updates I've brought just for you today. Burning Rangers rumor meets a blunt end as Clement states, "I've never seen a player making so many transfers." Motherwell coach handed a 6-game ban for comments on Desert's goal and Rangers win versus St. Johnstone. Steven Gerrard back to make a sensational Rangers return. Philippe Clement shares a Danilo update ahead of the Dundee clash. John Bennett takes the Hagi decision out of Philippe Clement's hands at Rangers. Don't forget to share your thoughts on Tav, Danilo, and Haji in the comments at the end. Right, mate, here's the latest transfer rumor that's gone up in smoke quicker than your last pint at the Loudon Tavern. Philippe Clement's had enough of the whispers about James Tavernier packing his bags and heading off to Turkey or Qatar. Aye, it's the same old song we've been hearing for a while now. First it was Saudi Arabia waving bags of cash last season. Now it's apparently Trabzonspor from Turkey having a nose around over the summer. You'd think Tav was getting his own frequent flyer miles the way these rumors keep popping up. So Clements finally addressed it just before we faced Dundee United in the Premiership after we had a cheeky bounce match against Motherwell. And what's the gaffer saying? Absolutely nada on the table. No offers, no bids, no one even knocking on the door. He's basically saying, look, I've read about Tav leaving so many times, but he's still here, sitting at Rangers, not even once coming to me asking to go. It's like Tav's been linked with more clubs than I've had pies at halftime, but there's not a shred of truth in it. Clement's backing his captain too. Says Tav's a proper skipper, the type who doesn't jump ship when things get tough. He's there, grafting away, putting the work in during training, even playing in that bounce game against Motherwell with the right attitude. And not just that, he's helping the new boys settle in, showing the younger lads the ropes. So, no, there's no signs of him sneaking off to the airport with a suitcase full of Turkish delights anytime soon. Rumors, eh? You know what they say. If you listened to all of them, you'd think Tavernier had signed for half the world by now. But trust me, he's still our man. Oh, here we go, another day, another bit of drama in Scottish football, eh? This time it's Richard Foster, the BBC pundit and Motherwell's head of coaching, who's landed himself in a right mess. He's been hit with a whopping 6-match touchline ban, all because he couldn't keep his gob shut about that whole Serial Desert's goal against St. Johnstone. Remember that one? We just about scraped past them in the Scottish League Cup, but the St. Johnstone lot kicked up a fuss, claiming the ref had signaled for their free kick before Deserts tucked it away. So Foster's sitting there as a pundit, and when the Scottish FA tried to explain the situation, he just blurts out, "Lies, it's a lie, unless the ref's blowing his whistle for no reason." I mean, come on, you've got to admire his enthusiasm, but calling the FA liars on telly? That's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. He's since apologized, but the damage was done, and the big wigs decided he wasn't exactly acting in the best interests of the game. Aye, you reckon? So now, Foster's stuck with a 6-game ban. 4 of them start immediately, and the other 2 are hanging over his head like a bad hangover, ready to kick in if he steps out of line again this season. Looks like he'll need to sit on his hands for a while and think twice before letting loose again. Football, eh? Never a dull moment. Here we go again. The Gerrard rumors are bubbling up like a dodgy pie in the microwave. Steven Gerrard, back at Rangers. You've got Paul Robinson, the ex-England keeper, flapping his gums on Football Insider saying it might be time for Stevie G to return. Apparently, Philippe Clement's under a bit of pressure after that miserable 3-0 thumping from Celtic. Aye, no one likes losing to that lot. But is it really time to pull the trigger? Robinson reckons Gerrard could steady the ship again, like he did when he first walked in back in 2018. Let's be honest, the club was in a bit of a state back then, and Gerrard pulled off the miracle in 2020-21, stopping Celtic's 10-in-a-row nonsense and delivering us the title. But that was a different time and a different team. The squads had more makeovers than your auntie's front room under Clement. And, as much as Clement's struggling to get a result against Celtic, 5 old firm attempts, no wins, you've got to admit the gap between us and that lot across the city is growing. Robinson's right in saying it's not just about how we do in the league, it's how far we've fallen behind Celtic, especially in attack. Our forward line just isn't cutting it compared to theirs, and it shows. Sure, we've spent a bit, but let's face it, our wallets are nothing compared to theirs, and it's starting to show on the pitch. That's what's got the fans biting their nails. The feeling that the gap's getting wider, not smaller. Clement did have that unbeaten run when he first arrived, and fair play to him, but things are feeling a bit disjointed now. Playing at Hampton hasn't exactly been a walk in the park either. Thankfully, all our Europa League games will be back at Rangers, which should give the fans a lift. Robinson says it might be too early to talk about Clement getting the sack, but the next Old Firm clash could be make or break. So, Gerrard back? You've got to wonder if the magic would still be there or if it'd be a case of never go back. Either way, it's Rangers, mate. Never a dull moment, eh? The international break's over and it's time for Rangers to dust themselves off and get back on track. Sunday's match against Dundee United is a big one. We're already 5 points behind those lots, so the pressure's on. Philippe Clement's been giving us the lowdown on Danilo, and it's not exactly good news. The poor lad's had a proper unlucky time of it. He slipped in training, and at first, the club thought it was a cruciate ligament injury, which, let's be honest, would have been a disaster. Luckily, it's not that bad, but he's still going to be out for over a month. Missing a key player like Danilo is a bit of a kick in the teeth, especially with Rabbi Matondo also out. Just what we need, eh? Clement's got his work cut out, no doubt about it. He's reminding everyone just how much turnover there's been in the squad. 16 players out the door over the summer, with some of them leaving on a free. And we're not exactly swimming in cash either. The club's brought in 11 new faces and slashed the average age of the squad down to 23. That's a bit of a youth movement if you ask me. But integrating all those new players? Aye, that'll take time, and time's something we don't always have when we're chasing down Celtic. Still, Clement's confident we can close the gap, but we've got to start winning and building momentum now. There's plenty of football left this season, with both the league and the cup still up for grabs. It's not panic stations yet, but we need to get those 3 points on Sunday and start moving in the right direction. Fingers crossed, eh? The Ioannis Hagi saga continues, and this time it's John Bennett calling the shots, not Philippe Clement. According to Hugh Keevans, the decision to keep Haji out of the first team picture at Rangers isn't down to our gaffer, but the chairman himself. Apparently, if Haji plays one more game, some sort of clause kicks in that sees him pocket a bit more cash. And right now, Rangers aren't exactly rolling in it. Classic Rangers, eh? Tight purse strings and all that. Clement's been saying it wasn't just his decision to leave Haji out, and now Keevans reckons Bennett's behind it, telling Clement to avoid triggering the clause. It's a bit of a sticky one, isn't it? Haji's not had a look-in since the break, and from the sounds of it, he's not going to anytime soon either. Stuck with the reserves until January, unless something magical happens. That's no way to treat a player with his potential. But money talks, or in this case, keeps quiet. It's a real shame because we all know Haji's got a bit of flair, but if it's a choice between playing him and coughing up more dosh or keeping the budget tight, you can guess which way the club's going to lean. We've got bills to pay after all, and with the squad already a bit disjointed, it seems like they've decided Haji's not part of the long-term plans. Come January, I reckon he'll be packing his bags and heading off somewhere else where they're willing to give him the game time he's craving. Until then, looks like he'll just be kicking about with the reserves, waiting for his next move. Shame, really. Could have been something special for us. Leave your thoughts on each of the news stories in the comments below. Hit that like button on the video, and if you missed yesterday's video, it's packed with bombshells too. I'll leave the link at the end for you to check out. Don't forget to comment what you think over there. Thanks.